Okay, we're back to the action on table number 1. We're going to open the button. Anywhere between 2 and 3.5x is okay on the button, depending on your blind's tendencies. We opt to go 2.5, and we're going to end up seeing a flop against Rinnigan. It's only 16 hands, but you can see that I've got a rock marked next to his name and the holder manager symbols, and we flop the nut flush draw and 2 backdoor straight draws. The backdoor straight draw based around the 3 would be a nut straight. The backdoor straight draw based around the 9 would be a non-nut straight. Just little ancillary factors to consider about your holistic equity throughout the full piece of the hand. You know, sometimes you'll see me bet and happily get it in, you know, with a naked nut flush draw, but we've got to make a huge distinction between a naked nut flush draw with 2 or 3 overs compared with a naked flush draw with a bunch of unders and 1 over and 3 diamonds in your hand on a pot that's $50. You know, there's a world of difference there between a 3-bet pot, with multiple overs, with maybe a backdoor flush draw as well as your front door flush draw. So this is a really weak flush draw, and we've got a guy playing a tight range. He's going to have some good kings in that range. I mean, when I said good kings, he's going to have king XXX, you know, good kings, good pair of kings like king and a gutter, maybe king 9 with a gutter, and he can also have a few sets of kings, but not as likely as like good king pair plus a draw type of thing. So we need to be scared of his check raising range is the moral of that story. And yeah, we just don't have enough to get it in, yet, you know, we feel dirty and used and whatever else when we have to fold a nut flush draw, because a nut flush draw has so much value in Omaha. So paying respect to the true weakness of our hand and hoping to deceive him a little, we're going to opt to check it back. So we've turned the 3. Now, you're going to end up seeing me raise here. I want to explain what goes through my head. When I gave a little analysis before about what his range is going to consist of out of the big blind calling range, a big blind calling range is going to be tight, full stop. Second to this, his range is going to be really tight, albeit from a 16 hand sample. Okay, so that's a very relevant consideration to say, hey, this guy doesn't have a 3 in that calling range. He can still have, you know, good pocket 9s. He can still have marginal pocket kings that he opted to flat pre-flop. But the 3 itself is pretty unlikely, given the hand attributes we've assigned to his range. And, you know, don't fear running into full houses. So with that in mind, I think it's unlikely he has a 3. You've got to be pretty careful, though, because if he's an attentive player, and if we raise him, I think I do, based on the fact that I've got notes on this hand, I'd almost certainly say that I raise him here. But when you raise him, if he's attentive, he can look at this board and say, hold on a minute, one of the 3s, so if I raise, I'm obviously representing a 3, because I've checked back the flop. I don't think I'm going to check back sets of 9s or sets of kings. So I'm representing a naked 3 if I raise the turn. Then if you raise the turn, he's going to say, hold on a minute, half of the 3s that you can potentially represent are the 3 of diamonds. And what he's saying, you've got the 3 of diamonds in your hand, and you couldn't bet the flop, you know. So he's going to potentially see that there's a bit of nonsense in my story if I do raise. So you do need to be really careful about who you try and put this move on, because, you know, if it's someone who sees that it's bullshit, like for the reasons I've just described, they're not going to have a bar of it. You can see, though, that he didn't have the 3 or better than the 3. So he didn't pick up on something like that. But that's just a flaw that I see there in my own planning. And I think it's a really good characteristic to have, like to analyze and criticize and see flaws in your own bluffing range. The same way in a live game, you might try and, you know, memorize the way that you felt and whatnot when you made a bluff or when you made a value bet, so that you were aware of your own image. Be aware of your own online lines and the image that they're going to take. That was a story there that I think would have got caught out by a few people. But it was fortunate enough to work there.